All right, we've got liftoff, Chi-Town. Big topic tonight. How has the feminist movement affected the B1, the black community? Like, share, subscribe. Apologies for the late start. Let's get it.
Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Fair use, baby. Educational purposes.
In entering upon this course of instruction, each of you should, so far as possible, lay aside for the time being all previous theories and beliefs. By so doing, you will be saved the trouble of trying
All the way through the show.
to put, quote, new wine into old wineskins, end quote. Luke chapter 5, verse 37. If there's anything as we proceed which you don't understand or agree with, just let it lie passively in your mind until you have enjoyed the entire show. For many statements that would at first arouse antagonism and discussion will be clear and easily accepted a little farther on. After the show is over, if you wish to return to your old beliefs and ways of living, you are at perfect liberty to do so. But for the time being, be willing to become as a little child, for said the Master in spiritual things, quote, except ye become as little children. Ye shall in no wise enter into the kingdom of heaven, end quote. Matthew chapter 18, verse 3. If at times there seems to be repetition, please remember, the Self Luv Show is a lesson, not a lecture.
I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job, is to spark somebody else watching us. We might not be the ones, but let's not be selfish, and because we're not going to change the world, let's not talk about how we should change.
24 years ago today, iconic rapper Tupac Shakur was shot here in Las Vegas.
The rapper was shot inside of a BMW while stopped at a red light on Koval and Flamingo. We all know the story. He then died 6 days later. The shooting happened after a Mike Tyson fight against Bruce Sheldon at MGM Grand. And then there was a brawl inside of the lobby right after that fight. Tupac was in the car with Marion Suge Knight, who was grazed by a bullet. No one has ever been arrested for Tupac's murder.
Brother,
I'm wiping it though. I'm gonna wipe it. I'm gonna wipe it. I'm gonna say, hey.
Tori's oldest brother. Between us, Tori made me at Beta, and so he just wanted to say a few words before we let you go here.
Okay. Yeah,
Brother Thomas, thank you so much for gracing us with your appearance, man. Grateful. You expanded our nation beyond belief. It's just a wonderful thing. And we would like to present you with the Self Luv Show first annual Ernest Lee Thomas Achievement Award.
Oh man,
It's apropos that you are the first recipient.
And Noop, we call it the Raj.
We're gonna call it the Raj.
Oh, I love it. Oh man.
Yeah, so we have it on order. So it's gonna come here. We're gonna show it to the show, and then myself or Tasia deliver it to you or ship it to you from there.
Thank you, brother.
And even in this instance, if I could be of service to a 9-year-old girl or a 19-year-old woman, or girl who wants to be a woman, is to really remember that self-love is the best way that you can receive love from anybody else.
Facts.
Coming from you. A lot of times we forget that. We like look externally for this love. We look externally for this feeling of validation and adoration and approval, and it has to come from within.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want. You take the red pill, you stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
Chi-Town, music, please. I'm just a kid from Chicago. Absolutely. Self-love. Vision. I'm just a kid from Chicago. Welcome to Chi-Town's very own, the Self Luv Show. We got two mottos. Motto number one, on earth as it is in heaven. Big ups to the ancestors. Special praise to my mama Sky. Motto number two is on earth as it is in heaven. Or as above, so below. That's motto number two. Right now, we can be found Malcolm exclusively on the YouTube channel. This Ain't That Network. As we say, TATN. Huh? Huh? TATN. This your co-host, 9 Millie, also known as Self. We're down, Chi-Town. We're down. Repeat after he. I am greater than my excuse. I am greater than my excuse. I am greater than my excuse. Today is Hump Day, Wednesday, August 24th. We live in living color. It's approximately 8:12 p.m. in the Chi. As always, you wonderful souls can be any place in this magnanimous universe. But thankfully, we all Scooter chose to be here together. Here together. What down, brother Wordsmith? What you manifesting today, Brody?
Love. Now, you know me, manifesting love. What you manifesting?
Ditto, good brother. Pure, magnanimous, unfiltered, unfettered. Love. Some say harsh. Some say, tough, rugged. But it's love just the same, good brother. Love just the same.
No doubt.
What's been going on around the Heezy since we last checked in, good bro?
Man, a lot going on. Had some birthdays. Wakil L.
Let's say the birthdays for the announcements, though.
Oh, right. Just love, honor, respect, everybody. I just been grinding, working on music. Ain't been out and about. You know I'm pretty much unplugged, so.
Yeah, I hear you, Brody. I hear you. What's that? What's the weather been looking like?
Upper 70s and decent. Rain last week between shows. End of last week it rained some, but it's been pretty nice.
That's what's up. That's what's up. All right. So, just so y'all kill that music. Just so y'all who may not know our regular format, my phone is tweaking. There we go. And for y'all who may not know the regular format, I'll give you a quick rundown right here. We always do the kick it off with the Self Luv Show quote of the day. And then our Mo Growth and Development video. It's less than a minute. It tells you what this platform is all about, what we stand upon. And it's very important that you tune in for that. And then we run spin a quick video. Normally it's 12, and we talk about the government, and we'll vote whether this action was tyrannical or not. We call that segment Tattoo Tyranny. And then we unpack what if they were pink, what if they were white, an even shorter video. And we do a thought experiment as far as that goes and switch up the so-called race of the individual, and we'll see if and how that can make a difference. Then, of course, we have our dome teaser. That's the riddle du jour, the riddle of the day. And, of course, we'll jump on topic, which, as you guys can clearly see, it's how has the feminist movement affected the black community, whether it's overall positive, negative. And then, of course, we'll roll into next week's sneak peek, let you know what we got in store for next week. And then my personal favorite part of the whole shebang, that's when this brother to my right summarizes everything and off the rip, top of the dome, piece of prose and genius, if I do say so myself.
Thanks, most deaf.
All right, but announcement self, I think you had some birthdays you want to jump off with?
Big Mark. Big Mark.
Yeah.
19th. 52.
Big ups to Big Mark.
Yeah, happy born day, Big Mark.
Yes, sir.
And that was the only birthday.
And you said Wakil had spent it?
No, we ain't had nothing for him. I haven't seen him, but Wakil was spending at the northeastern, the Carruthers Center, bringing the students back to school.
Okay, that's what's up. I'm sure he was banging the box.
Every time he get on.
Yeah, big ups to Wakil. And that's it for you, what you got?
Yeah.
All right, I want to send a condolences and a big rest in peace for one of our noops from our chapter, Spencer Williams. He was made at the Greater Beta chapter. That's University of Illinois. Tragic boating accident in Chicago. So he's on his journey in chapter Invisible. So condolences to the family and rest in peace, Noop. We also, I'll be dropping the...
R.I.P.
Yes, sir. At some point, I'll drop the GoFundMe link. His family's raising money. He had 2 children, young children, and they're putting together some proceeds for the funeral and what have you. So anything you can do is always better than nothing. And we only ask you to do what you can do. Also, if you got any suggestions for topics or guests, do reach out. You can text that information. You can drop it in the chat or in the comments when the video is no longer live. Actually, you could drop it in the comments now, actually. Suggestions or guests you'd recommend, you'd like to see appear on the Self Love Show, let's do it. The phone number is pinned at the top of this live chat. It's 424-900-6945.
Troll free.
Yeah, it's 424-900-6945, and that number's absolutely
troll free.
That's right. Standard messaging and rates may apply, but trolls get holes in this building. So we like to, make that known so that no one doesn't get the wrong impression. Call in, if you want to troll, make a fool out of yourself on live internet, right, so?
Absolutely.
Hey, guys, like, share, subscribe. Let's get them in the building. Y'all know the topic. How has the feminist movement affected the Black community in particular? That's what we're going to break down here today. But if there's any feminists out there, if you got something to say, this is totally interactive. Let's hear from you. And enough of my yapping. I'll turn it over to this brother to my right so he can handle his business.
Welcome, welcome. Y'all know what it is and what the show's about today, how the feminist movement has affected our community. As always, we have a very important video, the More Growth and Development platform, which we are building the Self Love Nation. And before that, we have the Self Love Show quote of the day. The future is feminist. Once again, the future is feminist. And that is a feminist motto. And here's the More Growth and Development. Silverback More Growth and Development platform. Number 1, repair our nation via reparations. We demand our silver back. Number 2, to connect our breadwinners with our activists. Number 3, show an accurate depiction of African American Chi-Town. 4, shine a light on positive influence. 5, heal our community one person at a time. 6, provide an unfiltered platform for our influencers. 7, recycle the black dollar. 8, to provide mentors for the mentorless. 9, to close the gap between us and our pink kinsmen.
Yes, sir. Closing the gap. And then we got a number 10 on the platform.
Yes.
What might that be?
Protect our women and children by any and all means necessary.
Facts. Man, I was watching the Podcraft the other day. What's his name from the Wu-Tang? You know what I'm talking about. Killer Priest.
I do. Yeah. I couldn't think of it either. That's why I was
and then so somebody said protect the women and children by any and all means necessary. I'm like, ain't this I couldn't argue. I'm like, yeah, ditto. It's very important.
Yes.
It's critical to our survival.
Absolutely. Especially in these day and times.
Man, there's a war going on out here. No man is safe from. All right, so that's why I call myself no man, no self. I'm safe from that. And if you guys didn't check out last week's show, we unpacked the New World Order. Lots of gems. What say ye, self?
Yes, man, go check it out. Just Google that thing up, man. It'll fulfill your spirit. Tell you that much.
It's a new world order. That's right. Curtis Mayfield. Yeah, y'all check that out. Journey down that rabbit hole. So you can check it out right here on This Ain't That Network. Because if you think it's that network, this definitely ain't it. But tonight is all about how has the feminist movement affected the Black community. That's what we're on tonight. You guys like, share, subscribe, tweet it, post it on Facebook. This link. We live. We're coming at you every Wednesday. The Self Love Show must what?
Go on.
Absolutely. 100%. So, but Self, did you see the video? The pigs coming home to slop.
Oh, I didn't see that. Don't forget the riddle too, but
did we skip the riddle?
We've not said it.
Are you kidding me? Let's see. Hold on. Are you?
Or is it?
Oh no, we do it after these segments.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. We'll get that out there. But you stay pretty unplugged. Well, big ups to Inside Edition and our production staff.
Uh-oh. I'm on the wrong thing. It's MSBC.
Let me double check here. Could be some corn. Let's see. Oh, yeah, it is MSBC. My bad.
Three
Big ups
law
to
enforcement
MSBC.
officers in Arkansas are suspended this morning, and state police are investigating them for use of force after a disturbing video of the arrest of a man. We should note that we do not know what occurred immediately before the video was recorded.
Oh, my God.
NBC's Guad Venegas is following this story. Guad, the video is just horrendous.
Exactly, Jose. As you say, it is disturbing. So before we show the video, we have to warn viewers. These are strong images before you watch this. So what we know, Jose, is that this happened yesterday morning, Sunday morning in Arkansas. You can see three officers in the images. These are those images. This is in Mulberry, Arkansas, in the west part of the state. What you see is they are kicking, they are using their arms to hold down a suspect. Now, the official report from authorities is that all three officers, will say, have been suspended. State authorities are conducting an investigation. We know that two belong to the Crawford Sheriff's County office, and one is a local police officer. All three suspended. Now, of the suspect, Jose, we know it's 27-year-old Randall Ray Worcester. He's facing 7 different charges. Among these are battery, assault, and even a terroristic threatening in the first degree. We know that the suspect was taken to a local hospital. He was looked at by doctors and then sent to a local jail while this investigation continues. These are images that we have found from social media of that suspect, 27-year-old Randall Ray Worcester, as authorities will say continue investigating what we see in this video.
I'll tell you, whatever this person may or may not have done, the question is, there's 3 officers, and God, as you were saying, I mean, look, we saw them, some are, kicking the guy, some are, literally fisting his head, and then it looks like a few times they're actually like slamming his head against the concrete. I mean, this is some really disturbing stuff.
Well, Jose, after these images went viral, so what first happened is this was uploaded to social media, and the images go viral. As you can expect, there was outrage immediately after authorities announced a suspension, and the local mayor, Gary Baxter, shared a statement online saying he was shocked and sickened by these images, as you can imagine, Jose. Now, authorities were quick to react to announce a suspension, and the
They look
state
like they couldn't wait
this
to
investigation.
catch him.
There is local reports from our local affiliate, Jose, indicating that the man might have made a threat to an employee of a convenience store initially, before what we saw in these images, which would have been the reason why the police came by to speak to the man. But of course, we don't have images of what happened before this.
They came by to do more than talk to him.
Great reports.
Alrighty, so I call that the pigs come home to slop because that appeared to be a Caucasian man, and yeah, based upon his name in that picture, that was definitely not an after picture after the beatdown either. That was some sort of selfie he took.
Man.
Yeah.
Because that was pretty crazy. That's tyranny all the way.
You know, yeah, that's cut and dry. But this is what I told you. I had an Uber passenger when I was working for them, and she had to be close to 90, and she was Jewish, and she told me like 4 years ago, like, this is exactly what she saw happening in Germany, you know, before the Holocaust.
Right.
You know, they started with your coloreds, you're disenfranchised, you know. But then, you know, once they tuned it up, and the Gestapo, oh, they started doing everybody.
Yeah, so everybody.
Everybody. So for all you good white people out there, we're not talking about the pink stink. You know, something that affects any one of us in society essentially affects all of us.
Yes.
What's this business about? Big ups to H. Moultrie. I'm going to get your comment in when we get on topic. But great comment. We'll address that. He also said GOP is in the building, and I responded, grand old female cats. But TATN. But what's this business about? They have to see the before the video. I'm like, I don't understand. We've seen people shoot up schools. We've seen people shoot up grocery stores, and
get
this
walked out.
Correct.
And you know, no beating.
None.
They come out, they handcuffed. They take them to Burger King. They take them, you know. So that whole situation looked like they couldn't wait to catch this dude.
Yeah, it was personal. You know.
Yes.
He made a threat, but he didn't go in there and shoot the place up.
Man.
He allegedly made a threat.
They bring love to the
yeah, to the ones working for their war. Yeah. It's the only way it could be explained. I you know, I try to look at this,
and them people are Manchurian candidates too. They've been.
Wouldn't doubt it. Somebody said the word self, and what happens?
Yep. Goes to the stash. It's already ready to go. And
that looked personal too. You know, he probably mouthed off and said something and was calling them, you know, dirty pigs or whatever. And they can't control their emotions out there.
Yeah.
All right. So I know you already voted. Tyranny. Let's hear from the chat. If you like that, give it a thumbs up. If you thought it was tyranny, give it a thumbs down. And if you think you need to see more video evidence, give it a thumbs up. If there's more that you need to see, thumbs it up. Or you could just type a picture of a pig in there if you want, as some of our previous guests have done. But we're not here to abuse the good cops out there.
No.
We're out here to talk about these oath breakers. So, all right, we're going to push on then. Tonight we're covering
all
the
of them
feminists.
looked like they were in agreement.
Who's that?
Those 3 officers.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah,
no good cop there. That's for damn sure.
No. You know, if it looks like a pig, oinks like a pig, it's a what?
A pig. I mean.
Yeah. So tonight, how the feminist movement has affected the black community. That's what we own. We got a short segment coming up. This one is called What If They Were Black? We got Darren Karen. We got a Darren Karen here. Big ups to Productions and big ups to Inside Edition. And this is fair use, educational purposes.
What was that?
Sheriff's deputies in Oklahoma thought a woman was securely handcuffed in the back of their vehicle until...
What was that? Danny, I'm hit right here.
Reports say the woman, 36-year-old Rachel Zion Clay, wasn't even under arrest at the time. She was being detained, but was handcuffed by deputies. She reportedly struck one of them, as well as a bystander.
We need backup immediately. Start EMS. Start EMS. We got a civilian. Got a civilian hit. What the heck? She get out of her cuffs? No.
An hours-long standoff reportedly ensued with law enforcement, but Clay eventually surrendered and was placed under arrest. Reports say the injured men are both okay. Now Rachel Zion Clay is charged with 3 counts of shooting with the intent to kill. She has not entered a plea to the charges against her.
Wow.
For Inside Edition Digital, I'm Mara Montalbano.
So somehow this Karen slipped out of the cuffs. I don't know if they didn't pat her down. I don't know whose pistol she was using. A lot of questions are being asked. But she shoots a civilian and busts at cops.
Yeah, because they were saying that she might not have got out of the cuffs. So they must have cuffed her in front of her. And she left the gun in there. I don't understand any of this. How did she get out of the car? How did she shoot?
How did she not get murdered by the police?
Well,
did they not fear for their life?
Yeah, she gave up.
She was What are you saying? You agree with well, I hear you.
With the report, they said that after the standoff, she gave up, and you know how they do. They don't see us as human, or not really human, but they don't see us as that. They see us like animals, so it's like
Subhuman.
big game hunting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, she shot a civilian, allegedly,
and they said they shot them too.
Yes,
but they got on vests or whatever, so they probably didn't,
Right.
I don't know what caliber she. That was all of. That's crazy.
And there was a standoff. How? Okay, so you're saying she might have still been in cuffs. She's shooting. You pull out your gun and you shoot her 75 times. That's what the FOP has been saying, has been justifying all over America.
Oh, they're scared of us, armed or unarmed.
I saw a video the other day, bro, of a brother. There was a shooting. I don't know if he was involved, but this was in Nashville. And when the police pulled up, the brother had a hoodie on. His hood wasn't on, but he was wearing a sweatshirt with those pockets in there. Put his hand up. They got to stop doing that, though. Threw the gun, away.
The gun was still in the air.
Lit him up.
Yeah. The gun's still in the air.
That's why when I juxtapose that against this Karen.
Well, I mean, the fear they have of us, or the hatred, however you want to put it, they don't see
it's equivalent. It's the same. It's synonymous, fear and hate.
They don't see us as the same. So even though they got people that's actively shooting and killing people, they still don't. They get them to stand down. Stand down. Stand down.
But,
you
Ace said she was sitting in the front seat with the shotgun. Yeah, and they probably lit a cigarette for her too.
That's how she shot all of them. She had the shotgun.
So she was. It didn't sound like a shotgun. I think it's just
not at all. Yeah, it didn't sound like a shotgun at all.
Yeah, I think he's just making a joke. But if she was,
that's funny though.
If she was some sort of colored,
No, she'd have been
at least shot.
No,
yeah, I agree with you. Dead.
No, dead.
Well, they shot the brother I was telling you about. I think they shot him like 13 times, but he 50 cent it. He survived. Yeah, so his family won't get the payday.
I thought he died.
Maybe he died later, but when I first saw the report,
but I I don't know. I didn't pay no more attention. I just because when I heard about that situation and saw some shit, it was like, oh.
Yeah, but we gotta, there's gotta be some training on how to deal with these pigs, right? You strap. Hey, look, officer, look in my front pouch. All right, look in my front pouch. I'm not gonna move. Just, what is it? Is it a gun? Look in there and get whatever it is yourself. You know what I'm saying, right? I'm not even gonna tell you it's a gun, because gun. You know.
I hear you,
man. That's just disgusting. It's disgusting.
Beyond disgusting.
And they were suspended immediately with the case we showed earlier today.
I mean, as soon as it came out, they had no choice. That would,
Yeah, the beat down of the white boy, though, they were suspended immediately. Yeah, so. All right, so you guys like, share, subscribe, and how has the feminist movement affected the black community? We got today's dome teaser, and then we'll jump right to topic. Today's riddle. Ace, stay off of Google or Siri or whatever you're using, and let's just use your dome and tease your dome and come up with the response. Here we go. There's a ranch-style house in which everything is yellow. Yellow walls, yellow doors, yellow furniture. What color are the stairs? All right, I'll repeat it for the Goyim. There's a ranch, for the useless eaters out there. There's a ranch. You guys got to watch the New World Order show. You'll know these references. There's a ranch-style house in which everything is yellow. Yellow walls, yellow doors, yellow furniture. What color are the stairs? That's today's brain teaser. I encourage you guys to type in your key or your response in the chat so that self-love isn't constantly winning all of these. Self has typed his answer in there. All right.
I live in a ranch style house.
Yeah, well, still, you still had to, use your dome. All right, so, and he is correct in his response. So we'll just wait for the Goyim. All right, but enough of the appetizer, self-love.
Let's quench the self-love nation's thirst.
All right, production staff, we got a promo video, and then we'll jump right on it. Again, Self-Love, the Riddler, solve the riddle, and we'll get at you guys regarding our topic for next week.
25-year-old Jorge Pena is the man in the hat, seen here on the F train around 5 o'clock Saturday morning. He says he was traveling home to the Bronx after a night working security at a nightclub. When this woman began berating him, making fun of his now infamous 8-ball jacket.
She touched my mouth with her shoes and pussy.
Pena says she cut the back of his ear with her high-heeled shoe.
She hit me a couple of times right here.
Pena says he had no choice but to hit back, adding he would never normally hit a woman.
Here on the Self Love Show, we're always live.
I think that how much you get paid should have something to do with how much money you bring in. I'm the highest paid fighter, not because Dana and Lorenzo wanted to do something nice for the ladies. They do it because I bring in the highest numbers. They do it because I make them the most money. And I think that the money that they make should be proportionate to the money that they bring in.
Wednesday at 8 p.m. Chicago time.
Along with comedian and broadcaster Noreen Khan, who says letting a man help her does not contradict her feminism. So why wouldn't you give her your seat?
Firstly, like if a woman's able-bodied, why should I? I mean, you know, guys pay for the train ticket as much as women do. They have a long day at work, they're knackered, and if she's physically able, why should I give up my seat for her?
Also, check us out tomorrow.
Hey bros, what's going on? This is Cotton. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Because subscribing makes you feel good.
Do you still have them?
All right.
Uh-oh.
What's going on with the production staff lately? All right. We got H. Moultrie. He said the answer is white. Everything's not white, coach. He said the answer is white. It's standard. Great guess. There are no limits to your guessing. Guess again. At least he had the cojones. He said it's like window trim and baseboards. You're getting colder. All right. I'll just let you know you're getting colder. All right. So
I gave him a huge hint.
You did. You did. You actually did. Well, I mean, it was the same hint in the key, so you know, but you did reinforce it. I mean, and not in the key, but in the riddle. During the Ace figured it out. Took your internet must have been running slow, huh, Ace? Ding, 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 Ace. Ding, ding. Ranch house, no stairs. Great job, bro. Great job. All right, so tonight, during the pre-feminism era, women were meant to be proper, delicate, and nurturers of the household. They were raised in a manner in which gaining a husband to take care of them and raising a family was their ultimate priority. So this is what feminism, I guess, is against. So I'll repeat it as a part of this intro. During the pre-feminism era, women were meant to be proper. I'm okay with proper. Delicate, not so much. Nurturers of the household, I don't have any issue with that. They were raised in a manner in which gaining a husband to take care of them and raising a family was their ultimate priority. That's interesting. So tonight's show, you got some banter? You got some banter?
I mean, that's what happened in my mother's side of the family until my mother.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah, well, I mean,
But even her, she took off years when my brother and I were born from work. You know what I mean? Stayed home and
to nurture.
Yes.
Yeah, and then
my grandmother, her mother, she worked a little when completely necessary, but otherwise she ran the house. You know what I mean? She took care of all the children, made their clothes, cooked, all that.
Well, I feel like you'd have to be maybe a female, and I'd love to get some female input, or a woman, to have objectivity, I guess.
Yeah.
To that, you know, because the question is, if they don't nurture, then it'll be the man nurturing. But if he's
no nurturing.
Right. But if he's,
Which is
or no
happening a lot
nurture,
now.
if he's supposed to be the head of the household, then it's going to be outside nurturing, or like you said, no nurturing. But tonight's show, we're going to give you a short history of feminism. We're going to address some pros and cons on how this has affected the black community. And we hope that this show will encourage further research into the topic and open some minds. Before we jump in it, Ace said, Mills Bill to you. Mills Bill to you there, fella. All right. So, what is feminism? In your own words, what is feminism?
It's an agenda by, I'm not sure exactly where it came from, but where women have been propagating themselves to be equal to men and want all of the equality of that.
Yeah, I give you that. Feminism refers to a series of social movements and political campaigns for radical and liberal reforms on women's issues created by the inequality between men and women. So you hit the nail on the head. Such issues as women's liberation, reproductive rights, domestic violence, maternity leave, equal pay, women's suffrage, I believe that's what, voting, sexual harassment, and sexual violence. So that, in a nutshell, summarizes it. You have any idea when this started, when this movement began?
If it's suffrage, then it was in early 1900s.
You hit the nail on the head. Now, you know, I go biblical every now and then, but, you know, in the beginning there was Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve, but Adam, according to the text, the woman was not made to be a slave or a helper, not to be a slave, but a companion of Adam. Now, Self hit the nail on the head. And now, well, it started a little earlier outside of the U.S. because, you know, this nation was younger. So internationally, it was in the 1800s, mid-1800s. But it caught fire at the turn of the 20th century here in these United States. There was a march, the first official march, liberal type of march, like the Million Man's March or the Civil Rights March, and 1913, Self. Interesting date, not just because our chapter was founded then, but in 1913, that's when your corporations out there became people. That's when the Federal Reserve, we lost the ability to print money. There was a lot going on.
A whole lot. The Moorish Science Institute was created or put into full effect.
And Woody Wilson was the president. Did he get murked? No, he took over after somebody got murked.
Yeah, he didn't get murked. But
Yeah,
he said when he was leaving out that he talked about the military industrial complex.
Woody Wilson or the guy who got murked?
No, Wilson, when he left.
Well, he was a shill for the international bankers.
Yeah. But when he was, by the time he was leaving, he realized the stuff that he did, because he said it publicly that, you know, and it's all the policies that he, you know, signed on. So, but he was like, yeah.
All right. Now, how has the feminist movement affected the black community? Now, Self, what demographic initiated? So there were three waves of feminism, or this feminist movement. We're in the third wave now. So what demographic do you think was out there in 1913?
They still didn't consider us people. So, you know, I mean, you know, it wasn't us at all. We didn't have the same issues that
Well, all right, so we know who it wasn't, but who was it?
the so-called white people.
So specifically, it was middle and upper class white women. Middle and upper class white women. And you remember the quote Malcolm X had said about these liberals.
Oh, yeah. They worse than the flat out racist.
Yeah.
And he's correct.
Yeah, that should get H. Moultrie all wound up. H. Moultrie had a comment earlier before we push forward. He said, lots of female student loans are about to be forgiven, including my daughters. Lots of males too, though. But he said, but what about the females' parents that saved money and paid their loans back and worked during school? Well, and you're also paying these taxes to pay these other people, Coach. I'd say pat yourself on the back, huh? I would give them a big thumbs up.
Yeah, I mean, you did what you were supposed to do and did it in a timely manner, and it,
Yeah.
You don't have to do any more.
Right. For those parents, if they feel some
great job.
You're right.
Is that what you want? That's what we can give you. Great job.
Right.
Double Utley.
All right. So to your point, Self, you said that we were considered subhuman and were excluded. So when were black women included, and why, if you have any ideas as to that?
Oh, wow. I can't think of the lady's name.
Sanger?
No. It was a melanated woman that really brought us into the fold of it, and she's
is she blackface?
Yes, CIA or FBI. She's straight plant.
She's a spook.
Yeah, straight plant. Straight plant got involved with it and started bringing it to our community.
What time frame are you thinking?
'60s,
yeah,
70s.
Bing, bing. No,
yeah.
Ding, ding, ding. 1960s, and it coincided, bro, with the civil rights movement.
All that. Yeah, all that.
Yeah. So once again, right? It's a coincidence that when the black men, I'll just say the black community, was again moving for rights, because in 1913 and right before that, we were moving for rights, getting voting rights and everything. The black women were invited to join the women's suffrage movement. That's interesting. And you remember, as Trife Mack has said, you've said on this show numerous times, they hadn't done the welfare trick yet, but where the poor white men can stay on their farms, with their families and get the welfare checks, but the struggling brothers and sisters who had that knee, the brothers who had that knee on their neck, had to move out and move all their stuff out.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. It's so much.
Go ahead.
Systemic evidence of basic racism, and for anyone to act like none of this took place or matters is foolish at best and evil at worst. Because what are you saying? Like, it's clear evidence. It's not like it's a lie. Like, when we got out of so-called bondage, the ones that was in bondage got out of bondage, we own 16 million acres of land. And trying to be a part of this corporation, they stole it. Our time is coming.
Yeah, and so the so I don't want anyone out here, to think, because many women had it bad. They put all that abuse on us. There was a movement in the Middle East before it started here as well, but that was different with how they were treating their women and how we may have been treating our women. That's why the white women were out there first, because of the way they were being treated. And then that kind of got, I want to say, programmed into our women's minds. It's the Goonie Goo Goo effect that Eddie Murphy talked about.
Yeah, that spook really put it on it. And she had no realness to it.
But there was, and I just got to get this out here because we're going to unpack some stuff in the second half. Today, you guys, we're shortening the shows when we don't have guests, so we're going to be at halftime very shortly. But, the motivation was that women were getting, I mentioned it, women were getting abused. Many women, some women, I should say, some women didn't have any rights in the household. But I find that hard to believe, like when you were talking about your grandmother and great-grandmother, we was getting hot grits thrown on us, smacked with pans. Like, I don't think our women was taking it like that.
Hey, Big Mama wasn't no joke.
Right.
Neither was Big Daddy, though.
Right.
He wasn't no joke either.
Right.
65 years of marriage until he passed. And my grandmother, 68 years of marriage till my grandfather passed.
You know what I'm saying? I wonder if she was out there marching with the women. Because you remember, we were all unified. This is what makes it weird. So you have our women marching for rights for women at a time when we were marching for rights as people. Marching for human rights.
Well, we'll jump on anybody bandwagon, unfortunately.
Get the right spook to say the right words.
We'll jump on anybody's bandwagon. Anybody that want rights or whatever, we say, oh yeah, they should get some rights.
Oh yeah.
We're with them. But
yeah,
when it's time for us to have them come,
we come up with all this, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, stop making excuses. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah,
none of them have pulled themselves up by their bootstraps. None of them. None of them. Man, they were brought here. And then they was taught how to farm. We taught them how to farm, and then
how to farm, how to do carpentry,
everything,
architecture, how to bathe.
Well, I'm talking about the ones they brought here that they had us and then cut us out after we taught these people everything.
Yeah,
it's sickness.
Yeah, it is sickness. And it is sickness. You remember my mom when we did her show that got deleted, rest her soul. She was talking about how they come over and they be stinking on the bus, and stuff like that. So, yeah. All right. But you guys know what this means. Yeah, buddy.
Yes, go. Y'all know what it is. It's the Self Luv Show. And today we're unpacking how the feminist movement has affected our community. Got into the definitions of feminism, at least from our opinion, and from literature. And we're going to explore the conversation in the second half. It's halftime.
It's halftime.
OG on the bass, nigga.
What are you looking at, slave? Poets tend to bear all, to expose all. At least the dope ones do. Rest up, my boy.
12 pigs with lipstick. First prize badge for the fattest 12 dipshits. In cute little blue SS uniforms. Sad, chicken little. Livers and gizzards so brittle. Pigs to slaughter. Lambs of the creation. Pigs blowing 7 horns of 7 nations. 12 unicorns added 1 giant leap just for reverberation. I got a feeling. I got a feeling. Yes. What? I got a feeling that swine ain't healthy or appealing. I got a feeling that soon the kings will rise and start doing the kneeling. I got that feeling. 12. What should foundational Black Americans do to eliminate the financial gap between ourselves and our pink counterparts? And we refer to white people as pink until they prove to us that they have those special qualities that when you look in the dictionary and you see white, clean, and things of this nature. Pure, yes, trustworthy. Up until then, they're pink.
Understood. I think 2 things. Get fiscally educated. Learn about money. Study about money and these systems and how money moves and how money works. And there's so many opportunities to be able to make money if you would just take the time. There are so many amazing podcasts and books and things that are out there that talk about how to be able to get ahead. And there's so many things that it doesn't even matter what you look like, what color you are, to be able to make money. The internet has made that possible. Social media has made it possible for us to take so much of our own destiny into our own hands and to have access in ways that we didn't, when we were coming up. So get out there and engage, dig, study, learn, ask questions. The information to change your fiscal situation and your financial future is available. And then the second thing is, don't be scared. Once you have that knowledge, get out and do something with it. People talk to me, I wish I had a dime every time I heard somebody say, "Oh, real estate, I've been meaning to get into that. Will you mentor me? Will you teach me? How did you get this building? And how did, you know what I mean? Like, people all the time. And I'm the type of person that believes I lose nothing sharing what I know with you. It takes nothing from me, because what's mine is mine. And you can't get what's mine, because it's mine. So I don't feel threatened. I'm happy to share whatever I have. If it's going to help edify somebody else or help, my folks to be able to grow, get to wherever they want to go. But I always give my number to people and say, whenever you're ready, if you're really serious, call me. And 99.999% of the time, I don't ever hear back from people. So if you have the knowledge and you don't apply it, if you get the resource and you don't do anything, if you got the seed and you never plant it and nurture it, it's never going to yield for you. So once you get the money or the knowledge or the information, you have to get out and do something. There is something in the doing. You have got to do something with it. And that's the most frustrating thing for me, because I want to see our folks get a piece of this land. It's not as hard as you think. You have to be committed to the goal. You have to be disciplined, and you have to sacrifice. You might not be able to go hang out like you used to. You may not be able to go get those shoes or those purses like you used to. You may not be able to get those tennis shoes, or maybe go to the games or hang out with your boys, or be at the bar every weekend, you know, like you maybe like to do.
What's going on? This is Cotton. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Because subscribing makes you feel good.
Do you still have them?
Got mine.
Ditto. Men can't have them no more. It's for the women.
They want to cut ours off. Feminists do anyway. You already know.
Big ups, Trife Mac. Big ups, Trife Mac. All right, so yeah, we're gonna jump into the second half. We're doing the feminist movement and how that has affected our community, whether it's good or bad. That's what we on today. Appreciate all the listeners. Please like, share, subscribe as we jump into the second half of this demonstration. So let's do it. I go. So now we're gonna jump on it. Do you guys think that feminism was and is a tool of big corporations? If so, how would this benefit big corporate, which we did a show on? Big corporate. We got a series running on that.
Facts. Yeah, definitely benefits the taxation response.
Facts.
And also leads to the indoctrination centers that they call schools. If the women's working and they're not at home taking care of the children, or, you know, developing their education, then our children are taken to indoctrination centers.
So they're not getting the independent thought and the lessons and values of their ancestors are
none of
crapped
that.
upon. Yeah.
And they're teaching against that. They're getting information against that can have the children combating with their parents on what's real because of what they're taught in school.
Yeah. I'll add to that too. The the corporations. So before they were paying the men enough to raise a family, and
Facts.
then what they did was got the women involved, and then they paid the women low wages. So it was win-win for the corporations. They had another pool of employees that to this day, it's been said that they underpay. And thus,
Facts.
It's, and thus it lowers the pay that one would be able to get. For instance, if somebody's willing to do the job for $3 an hour, or have to do it because, their husband's dead or in jail or whatever the case may be, or they need extra money, then they're going to do it. And at that time that they entered the workforce, like they were talking about sexual harassment, you know, they were able to get those women out of the house, get the hands on them. You know, don't want to sound sexist, but if, like what we said at the top of the show, the programming of women was, you know, to listen to men, so to speak, then there would be less pushback, you know, in the office and things of that nature. So I think it was win-win for your major corporations out there.
Yeah, for a lot of industries, but a lot of them no. Like men built a lot of this whole society, and there are a lot of jobs that women don't do.
What do you mean? Like what? I've seen them on garbage trucks. I've seen them in the sewers. I've seen them engineers.
Some in all of those, but the major construction.
Yeah, I've seen them on construction sites. I've walked
Yeah.
past and the women like, "Hey, baby," smacking me on the butt. I'm like, "Oh, don't do that to me." You know what I mean?
I'm telling you, it's a minority in comparison to what is out here.
Yeah, I can't deny that. But I hear you. Yeah, because they were doing mainly clerical work, and when the big phone company, the war was going on, and there was less, you know, employable men, so they were like, you know, the operators at the phone, and then they were doing seamstress type work, data entry, secretarial type stuff. So it was definitely a big benefit for Ma Bell when they had that monopoly, which they still have. You know, they still got the monopoly. But all right, well done. So I basically, yeah, more workers, which, you know, lowers wages. So today we're doing how has the feminist movement affected the Black community. So now we're getting into the Black community. How has this benefited Black women? So, and we're not talking about the negatives. We're just talking about what benefit, how has the feminist movement benefited our sisters, mothers, daughters?
Opportunities, the main way, and situations where they can work and earn, you know, money, where they could explore their aspirations and what they wanted to do in life.
I agree. You know, instead of just having to be up under a man, so to speak, or make babies and rear children and nurture children, I guess they would have opportunities to follow their dreams if it was something outside of that, right? Yeah, I give you that. I'm trying to think of some other benefits. Less sexual abuse, maybe. I mean, that's something that you can't really quantify, because I think it's led to more sexual harassment because they're out and about more. You know, the whole Me Too movement, all of that was women working with men and men being horrible people. But what I'm saying is that was all of that was less likely to be taking place by anyone except for your husband or, you know, somebody in your household.
Yeah, I mean,
So I mean, I don't want to get into negatives, but go ahead.
Okay, I can't.
No. I brought it up, but I was just the reason it came up is because I was saying less sexual harassment, but then now that seems like a positive, it actually seems like a negative.
It's a quandary.
Definitely.
That's what I will say. But
okay, so
it's definitely probably more sexual harassment now, because I mean the attitude that is coming along with the feminism is that they can present themselves any way, shape, or form they want, and don't expect any reaction or repercussions because of it.
Like that incident on the train with the guy with his 8-ball jacket in the promo video.
Yeah.
She attacked the man and right.
I mean, there's no respect.
Well, yeah. I'm just we got to get to the negatives, but it's got to be more positives. And if there's any women in the chat,
women have done some great things in this time. You know what I mean?
Science,
since they've been
technology.
Yes, and there's no knock on that, but
independence would seem like a thing. I'm just trying to walk in their shoes.
Yeah, but independence is death to our community.
All right, and if anybody in the chat can't think of anything positive, we're going to move to the we're going to get to.
Yeah, I gotta cut the mic off.
No, don't cut it, because I can't think of nothing more positive either. But those are good positives that you said. They can pursue their dreams.
Yeah.
Right, and that's bottom line.
Yeah.
They don't have to make babies and be a home wife, a housewife, and be getting money from their husband. They can have their own money, their own financial independence. And that's about all I can think of. I hope somebody else out there could think of something. So let me ask you this: as a black man, how has the feminist movement, and we're going to dig deep here, because you do have a daughter, and I got a sister, and of course had a mother, and I got a wife. How has the feminist movement benefited the black male self-love? And the chat. We're asking the chat too.
Well, unfortunately, there are a legion of men that are leech off of
You're talking
black
about
women.
the players.
Yeah, leech off the woman and all of that, whatever. That's one way. It's helped when you got someone that wants to work in a partnership and can work together, can have some of the same, drive and all of that. So I'll say that that's a benefit.
Yeah, I'll say in the workplace, you got women around you instead of a big sausage fest. I guess that.
Yeah.
But now, it's, what I mean. If you're not married, I'm saying now you can't even.
And it still
date
depends
them
on your work, the type of work you do.
True, but you're gonna get hashtag Me Too. But in seriousness, though, I'd have to look at it as a standpoint of knowing that your daughter or your sister doesn't have to be quote, end quote, a servant to a husband who may or may not be worthy of it, who may or may not be able to pull the weight, who may be violent, who may just be a douche. Can we say douchebag? Um, you know, and to your point, the combined income, which again helps the corporation and the government, because people were paid enough and the inflation was a certain way where you could live off of one income. And I kind of wanted to get into that.
That's part of the money grab. All these
Correct.
corporations have, inflated all of the prices that,
Yes.
it don't have to be inflated. It's artificially decided that, like, by burning down crops and causing scarcity raises all the prices. So, I mean,
well, let me ask you. Because that's kind of what the promo video was talking about, like the chivalry, what the liberation movement has possibly done. So we'll just say you can't have it both ways. So let's say you're a woman and you want to be independent and you earn the money. Then why is it in most cases not okay for the man to then be the house husband and nurture the kids and stay at home and clean the house?
there are a lot of men that are not set up for them. So even if they left to that, they don't do it.
But let's talk about the ones that will do it.
There are a lot that do. A whole lot. I mean, that's a fact.
But things like, holding a door. I think I held the door for a woman one time and she made a snide remark. You offer them a seat on the train and they look at you like you're short. It's like many of them take offense to the previous male roles. So I bet on the Titanic, when you're saying all the women and children first, I wonder how much pushback you get in a situation like that.
Well, some of these extremists in this situation that believe there should be no males,
they'll go down with the boat.
Oh yeah,
I got just as much right as you, not
to sink with this ship. They'll sink with it. At least from my limited understanding and knowledge, about the subject. From my observation, though.
Yeah, and so now we're what do you call that? We're transitioning into some negative effects. So what negative effect has this had on Black women? If any?
Selfishness that leads to the breakdown of the family. The acceptance of the government supplementing the man having to be gone. That I don't need a man mentality that's being taught and pushed down through the generation.
Well, to your point about 65 years of marriage, I think it leads to a much higher divorce rate and a much higher single rate.
Yeah. Well, at the rate now, want to get married. Like,
yeah, I think 70% of Black women tend to be single, unmarried.
Yeah, unmarried, yeah. And women that's been married for a grip get married again, and if you go through a stretch and have a successful rate, with a man, you can get married again. But a lot of these women, you know, they 2-3 months and off to something else because of how they're being treated or who they're choosing to be with, really. Because there's a whole lot of men that have a whole there's a small percentage of men that have a whole lot of children. There's a whole lot of men that don't have no children.
Well, and then there's an issue too, Self. So you have a man and a woman, or a man and a man these days, or a woman and a woman running a household. So let's say if one wants to do one thing and the other wants to do the other thing, what's the tiebreaker? Who ultimately makes the decision? And I think this is leading to confusion, and I don't think most other races are truly moving the way that our women are being coached to move. There's going to be outliers.
Yeah.
But I think, right, I'm not saying that the man should make all the decisions. I'm saying if there's a disagreement, that's where the problem happens. Because now, whether it's going to be the wife or the husband, no one is agreeing these days of, okay, the final say is going to be yours.
Right.
Now I think it's based on who makes the most money.
And yeah,
it's castration. It's unfair in the Black community when we have this knee on our neck. Right?
Right. And
you know what I mean? Right.
It's set up for you to make more money than me.
Correct.
So, you know, it's asinine to consider that just because you make the most money, you call the shots. It's monkey shines. It's stupidity.
Facts.
It's got to be developed by the relationship and how it's been built. Facts. Because it's no way just because of some monetariness we should be able to be castrated, like you said earlier.
Unless the conditioning of young boys is going to be amended. So, because ultimately that's what it is. It would be a castration. So like you got, I don't want to go biblical, but there was a hierarchy, according to the Bible: husband, wife, and then children. So I pose this question: if your child self, your son or daughter, got a bag, do they now get to have the ultimate say in the household? According
Absolutely
to this,
not.
But according to the whoever brings in the most money is in control. I hear you, but a man and a woman can agree that the child doesn't have the final say.
There's legality in that part that, you know, they can easily stop it even if the child wanted that. And there are children that emancipate themselves when they have a certain amount of money or whatever, so that their parents can't tell them what to do.
Right. But in this hierarchy, though, I'm just using it as an example of how preposterous our situation is in the Black community. So if we could say, because this person makes more money, they now get to make all the decisions regardless of the structure, then it should follow, logically, that the child who's bringing in the most money in the house should have more say than everybody else.
You know,
I mean, I know that. I mean, I'm not saying this is something. It's just a logical discussion, that I'm trying to put forward, But that's different scriptures. But if you follow all the different books, and I know, we can say it's all lies, whatever.
I didn't
But
say
there's some
any of
truth
that
to
part.
it, and I like to say, if it was good enough for the ancestors, it should be good enough for us. When did we get away from how the ancestors rode, and why?
We did a lot of us did a whole lot of slavery, and after that was over with, indoctrination all the way through to a whole lot of stuff that's not true.
But even with that all being said, your grandparents didn't roll like that. Neither did mine or my great grandparents.
And we was taught in school that they didn't know what they was talking about. You personally was taught that.
They're really getting taught that now.
Oh yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, shorty's arguing with their parents over what happened a long time ago because of what they learned in school.
Yeah, but even though we were getting taught that, our parents would push back and say, "My house, my rules. You don't like it, pack your stuff and get out."
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if your teacher's telling you that, then tell your teacher to feed you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's a trip. I'm blessed that I haven't had my children say anything of the sort or the like. It's
They've had private schooling though.
No, they went to public school all the way up until this year.
But probably in good school districts, the indoctrination is there, but it's different.
Yeah. At home is different too, though. So that's what
it's there.
I'm gonna attribute it to more to at home than. But I hear you.
Yeah.
It's a whole lot of indoctrination.
But
indoctrination centers are man, something. Call it school.
So, what do you think the end game is, bro? Because we're in the third wave of this movement. What do you think the end game is?
I'm not sure because I hear such a wide range of things. But from our community, I hear a lot of women saying they don't need no man. And also, men don't need no women. And I'm trying to figure out how we supposed to grow and expand. That's one of the things that I'm like, how is this supposed to happen if we're completely separate? Separation is a real problem. And we got to figure out how to come together. And I mean, by the people that want to be together, not the people that just want to use people or whatever. We don't need that part. But the people that want to be together, we got to get past this split. Got to come together and have some agreement. Otherwise, it's over with.
Yeah, I'd say the end game is the destruction of the black family.
Yeah, that's what's happened.
The total annihilation of the black family, and by extension, the black communities.
Yeah, black communities is already dead because, well, at least in law, we have to get past a lot of these labels and brands.
Well, what do you you gave? Well, you said we got to come together. What's the antidote?
Um,
Well, I'll give you mine. It's comes with how we raise our children.
Absolutely. We have to protect our children by any means necessary because these indoctrination centers are a mother.
Yeah, because I think there's a way, and we kind of touched on it earlier, how you know women have always had control. It's an art to being in control without being in control. And it didn't necessarily come from, out toughing a man, or I think the word I'm looking for is finesse.
Mm-hmm. But even that has a negative connotation now with women finessing men because they be on some straight using.
Yeah, but I'd have to
I know
add
what you're
grace.
talking about.
Yeah, I'd have to
grace
add
and the
graceful finesse. As long as
run the whole situation because he ain't really there. He working.
Where the ultimate goal of the finesse is to support is for
Yes.
betterment of the family.
Yes.
Which means that I think it comes down to, at this point, how we raise our children. Like you said, the programming that we put into them and the examples we're able to set.
To me, it seems like we might need to send them to school after theta. Like, after they're in the theta state, the first 7 years.
Yeah, you can homeschool them all the way to like 12, 13.
Once you get them out of theta, it's going to be hard to change them. You know what I mean? It's going to take effort and that stuff. Like the advice my mom gave me, she said, you need to give them that answer, but you don't have to believe it. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and we're putting a lot of emphasis on the school programming, but a lot of this is getting programmed right in the house.
That part. And saying all that too, we talking about, ideal situation. Like, because the normal part, the people that are sending them to school, like rushing them off to school, is teaching them the wrong thing the whole time. Yelling at them, calling them stupid, saying, are you slow? I see it every day, working.
I mean, yeah, and kids crying and being forced to go to their first day of school, that can't be right. you know, so the mom and dad can go to work, right?
Yeah. I'm just saying it should at least be after. I mean, if it's some righteousness to this whole situation, and the woman should be paid, that, you know, as far as I'm concerned, all these profits and all these things that this people are making and all that, the woman should be paid like in other countries to stay home and take care of their child.
And if you have a man that's respectful, respect your man, right? And, you know, it's not all about the handbag you got or don't have, you know.
Yeah, because, what he said. Cause
I mean, seriously. The kids,
stupidness.
the child in Theta don't need $200 shoes.
At all.
No.
Ever.
No. But, you know, when you move out of your community, you got to impress the neighbors. You want to look like you belong there. That means you got to upgrade your car. That means you got to upgrade this. And
monkey shines.
Yeah, it's yes, that's what it is. It's monkeypox. You know. Yeah, and then I'd also add to this. I know nobody wants to hear it. They need to be getting some sort of a foundation. Whatever you believe in. Before they get all that monkey science pumped into them. You know, which can get you some sort of a sense of right from wrong. And, you know, we've had parents who always, maybe they weren't as eloquent, wasn't as quote unquote book smart, but they were able to get you in the direction to get the knowledge and understanding that you needed. Whether that came through a belt. Now, I'm not saying, you know, beat your kids, but I'm not saying, you know, I'm not saying to not spare the rod. But I really think it comes down to, I hate to keep repeating itself, how we raise our kids. I mean, and to add to your point,
our children, we got to
children, right? Raise them right. Yeah. Raise them right into, like you said, at least through Theta, and pay attention to what they're being programmed.
Facts. Gotta pay attention to what they're being programmed to. And you can counter it during the process instead of having it all the way instilled. Like I said, my mom told me earlier, she said, hey, they want that answer, but you don't have to believe it. And man, that changed everything for me.
And if the issue is about who's bringing home the most bread, then that should be a two-way street then. Right? Right? If I'm bringing home the most bread, then you need to be humbling yourself if you expect me to do it.
It's supposed to be humility anyway. Ideally, who bring home the most money doesn't factor in. Like,
correct, because it's all about the whole.
Yes, the family unit.
Correct.
There should be humility all the way through.
Correct.
Shouldn't be any vanity about bringing home the most.
Which is why in divorce, the woman and the man typically get half, no matter who was bringing in the most bread, because there's an assumption that
80% of our divorces are initiated by the woman.
Wow.
80%.
Wow. And I think that has a lot to do with listening to these pink.
It does. I don't need a man. I don't need a man.
Well, half of those pinks, which we didn't mention, and I'm not judging any lifestyle, but the ones that started this movement, a lot of them were alternative lifestyle.
I'd probably say 80%.
So I don't know the numbers.
The extreme of them are like deaf to all males.
Correct. Well, you
That's
saw that quote at the beginning of the show.
It's like,
yeah,
okay, you know. I mean, there is a theoretical science that XX chromosome had to be here before the XY, and XY is a derivative, what's the word I'm looking for? Not degenerate, but
recessive.
Well, it's definitely it ain't recessive. It's still a recessive because it's more XX, but it's a off take. Like the pink people are from us. Derivative, but that's not the word. But anyway, there's a theory that like there were all XX until a XY happened, and they were able to reproduce and all of this without it. And it's a lot of people that say that women are the gods because of this. But all of the science we have been taught, as far as I'm concerned, is false. And it will be disproved. All of it.
Yeah, when they finally get back to the get to the moon, they're gonna simply disprove that they've never been there before, and they're disproving it all through this project money grab they're currently on. They keep talking about, we've got this technology, and because now we're only in low Earth orbit, but when we go out there, I heard this straight from NASA. When we go out there,
the moon is in lower Earth.
Hold it. When we go out there, we're going to need to protect for the radiation. And now we've got this new technology. And I'm like, well, you would have had that technology if you went to the moon multiple times already.
Yes, you clown, because you can't use aluminum foil and technology that's less than this phone that I'm holding, and get there and say, well, we can't get back because,
Correct. And when we do get to the moon, right? I sent you a video, but we did a show on this already, but you guys need to really start watching these current NASA videos when they're talking about their new technology and the things they're doing. They slip up all the time. I keep hearing themselves, and when we get to the moon, and I'll be like, but we've already been to the moon. What's the big deal? You were going to the moon like somebody was driving from Chicago to LA.
Yeah, it's stupid. All
right, go ahead.
They are tripping because, like, where most of the so-called satellites and all that is like, I think 260 kilometers above the planet.
Yeah,
it's not outside the firmament.
Yeah, so as Self said, humility, respect, working as one single unit, no matter who's bringing in the dough. This is, like you said, a quandary. It's a conundrum. If the goal was to stop the violence and even the playing field, then great. But there's some things we're not saying. Self kind of led into it, and it's just out of respect for our sisters, and we don't really, do that. Do too much B1 bashing on this network, but carry yourself. Now, I don't want to take women back 100 years, but it's okay to be proper, to have grace, and to nurture your household. In my mind, that's okay, and it's probably a turn on to many men. So, if you swinging for the other team, and that's your bag, then right, God bless you, and that's fine. But don't poison the women who aren't swinging for the other team with nonsense, like these incels. I know you know about these incels all over the internet. I said alone, yeah, they call them incels. They're men that just bash women and they don't have sex and things like that. I have reason to believe that 80% of them, like you said, like you said about the women, are just want a world without women, which you'd have to say who's behind that whole movement. And they poison men.
The same people.
Correct. Because you're going to have a yin and a yang to everything you do. Yeah, they're going to set that up to everything they do and control them both. Yeah.
And there's ignorance at both extremes. And at most extremes is ignorance. I would say that.
Correct. Find some balance out there, y'all, and do your research. Journey down this rabbit hole. I'm sure Self Love and I will both agree that violence against women and sexual battery and women not being able to have a job and but you know what I mean. Don't marry a person if they want you to be a housewife, right, Self?
Yeah, I mean,
if that's not what you're into, right?
A lot of it is, if you say you don't need a man, then how can you expect us to protect you?
Man.
If you refuse us opening the door or getting up for you to sit down,
man,
how can you expect us to protect you? It's just asinine.
You raise a good point. No, it is. It would be like a man saying to a woman, I don't need no woman. How would they take that? And you're in a relationship with a woman. Right?
Well, a lot of them like, I don't need no man. So they'd be like, well, you don't need no woman. Okay, we can be in this non-relationship.
Right. That's a good point.
That's a problem.
But that's a damn good point. And then security comes into play, Self. I know in Japan, for instance, single women, man, they be getting stalked, cribs broken into. Security does come into play.
Facts. There's no way around that part.
No way around that.
You're uncovered. You can meet, especially if you're dealing with anybody online or social media. You don't know who you meeting or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. They can show up right where you at. You ain't even got to say where you at, and they can see something. I know where that's at.
And by extension, it's leaving our community uncovered and exposed as well.
Yeah, our community is uncovered and exposed. And until we face that fact and get to this median that we need, it's going to be a problem. So everybody that you know that would feel this type of information, please let them know where it's at. Tell them, look at back from the beginning.
Man, go down the rabbit hole, y'all. All right, so the dome teaser was, there's a ranch style house in which everything is yellow, yellow walls, yellow doors, yellow furniture. What color are the stairs? And we did get an answer from the chat. AceX2U said ranch house, no stairs. That's pretty much what Self Love had answered in our chat.
Facts.
So
they both been in my house though. I just want to say, like H Moultrie, like what color are the stairs in my house, bro?
The literal key was there aren't any stairs. It's a 1-story house. So
yes, ranch style house.
Yeah, it's all about effective, active listening, you guys. It's all about active listening. I think Self's figured that out with these when it comes down to these riddles. And then
I have.
Yeah, you gotta pay attention to every
word.
It may not seem a big deal, right?
No, it's extremely important. Every single word.
So the riddle was written a 1-story house. I'm like, oh no, that'd be too easy. So I changed it to ranch, and that's probably why you was able to catch on. But Ace, he's never lived in a ranch house. You know,
he's been. I said it. I live in a ranch. After you said it, I got it right. I mean, you know what I mean. He probably know real estate too. He might have heard it later. But I mean, he's been to my house. I was like, damn. And where he was also while Moultrie was putting his thing out, I was like, you know, I gave him a huge, because I live in one, so he should have known that. So that's all.
He's GOP. So yeah. So big ups, you guys. And we're working on next week's show. We'll get a. It'll be next week, Wednesday at 8 p.m. Chicago time, live as always.
Ooh-wee.
We'll get a promo video out there with you, let you know when we got a guest lined up. Also, tomorrow on TATN, we do a show, another show live. It's called Mouthpiece Included. That's where we cover politics. That's a fusion between sports and politics. Our emphasis is on the political side of it. But our hottest topic is Arlington Heights versus Chicago.
Yes, sir.
As far as,
it's going to be a great conversation. That, man, I just want to give my personal, let y'all know, check this out. Y'all need to check it out on Thursdays, because my regulators, my bros, it's like no other. It's politics, and it's a fluid, beautiful exchange of information.
And we're not just parroting nonsense heard on ESPN.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's the black perspective. Southside Shine. All right, appreciate that, Self Love. Appreciate that. And then, all right, so that does it for tonight. As we always close out with this brother to my right. He's going to close this whole thing out with wordsmiths. Final words out there, out there, out there, out there, out there, out there, out there.
Wow. I have been equating some of this feminism on the level of racism. Come from it. I see the same symptoms. Got me imping and trying to figure out my spirit tells me it ain't no doubt. it's designed to separate our family.
Facts.
In all harmony.
Facts.
When we wasn't really the ones that was harmony women in our community.
Facts.
We promoted unity.
Had no choice.
I lived under a matriarch. Big Mama ran it at least from the start of my life. Big Daddy did a lot of great. When he got out of sorts, the family got him straight.
Love, not hate.
That's why we demonstrate what it's all about. No doubt. Our community first.
Be one.
We won. I think we should. We won. I don't know.
Flat.
Just speak in my mind. Know about the time. Know about the rhyme. But feminism has done a lot of hurt to our grind. We ain't had a whole lot of problems till y'all been talking about it.
Facts.
Do what you want to do. Live how you want. And I won't badmouth you or doubt it. But old school rules. My life.
Praise
and
the
I
ancestors.
Know what I want to do and how I want my wife to be.
Or not to be.
Don't know her yet, but it's coming. Y'all gonna see. Words.
We won. Powerful words from a powerful brother. Yes, sir. And we're going to close it out with one of my new favorite artists, Ka Zodiac. Y'all check him out. K.A. Zodiac. I call him Ka-Kim Allah, like Rakim Allah. This one's called Universal Blueprint. Big ups to Ka Zodiac. Y'all strive, stay alive out there. Bullets are boomerangs.
Stand your ground.
Murder is suicide.
Yeah, man. An eye for an eye.
Yeah, they say I'm an old soul, give a gaze at the moon. 4 quarters made of silver, 3 placed in the womb.
Silence
Big dipper, all reflected light
is
rays in the
violence.
spoon. Each one is 25, 4 sevens in my eye, 3/4 to
If you see something that ain't right in our community, you better say something.
12, squale, squale. Here's how you make a slave. Listen to this, women. Greed plus ego over some fear. That's how you raise a slave.
Yeah. But charity plus humility times love is freedom.
All day. All day. Don't answer questions, man.
Question everything.
Fear is an illusion. It's cap.
only love. So, do
vibrate love, forgiveness, and charity. Those are the highest love vibrations.
That's why you gotta do something charitable for your enemy to end the beef.
Listen to this, nurturers of our children. Healthy people heal thy people. Healthy people heal people.
Because hurt people most definitely hurt people.
Free Angel. Free Jeff Fort.
Free Larry Hoover.
Free that old man too, man.
Gotta free them all, bro.
All the guys, bro. Prison and slavery.
Facts.
Be like St. Pedro. Walk on H2O. Keep your eyes on Yahusha.
That part. But hey, we got the ability to move mountains.
Move mountains? Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me?
No, not at all. I'm not kidding you at all. I'm up. That one, yep. Right there.
That one, bro?
Yes, man. All we need is the faith of a mustard seed. We got way more than that. The Self Luv Show proves it.
Love thyself, y'all. We won.